You're listening to the official Minnesota Wild podcast, presented by Acrisure.
Well, at the end of the first period, Minnesota has taken the lead 3-0. They've had a terrific first period. One of the guys who really helped make that happen is Nico Sturm, is downstairs right now. And Nico, I don't know what was said to you in that locker room and your teammates as well, but you guys came out with a lot of fire, no question about it, in that first period.
Yeah, obviously desperation. Season on the line, and wish we were a more desperate team, but it's only been 20 minutes. There's a lot of hockey left, and they're going to be talking in the locker room, and they're going to make a big push coming out in the second period, so there's no letting off the gas here. Yeah,
and you have a lot of experience also. I mean, you have 2 Stanley Cups to your name, one being with the Avs here a few years ago, one, of course, last year with Florida. But how important is that when you are talking to some of the young kids who have never experienced a playoff competition?
Yeah, it's just I'm with every playoff experience, every playoff game that you get under your belt, you're just a little more calmer. Like even today, when your season's on the line and there's a chance that it might be the last game. Like you never know that. Obviously you're anticipating the game and there's a little bit of anxiety, but there's no, I'm not super nervous. I'm not gripping my stick tighter. I've been in these situations, and the more you are in the situations, the more you realize the more anxious you get, the more nervous you get, the worse you play usually. So I know it kind of sounds a little bit stupid, but you almost gotta not care that there might be a chance that it's your last game of the year. That way you play a little looser, your legs are a little faster, and you play a little more confident.
Well, I think you would like a little more rest also, so we want to let you go right now, get back in the dressing room, be with your guys as you get ready for
Yes, sir.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Nico Sturm, our guest here. Kevin, let's go back to you.
All right, thank you, Tom, for joining us in the first intermission. Nico Sturm will get a gift certificate down to Tom Reid's Hockey City Pub. Nico Sturm and the Wild lead the Avalanche 3-0 after one period of play. Quick break, and then we got Michael Russo joining Tom Reid at Ball Arena. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
Back here at Ball Arena in Denver, Colorado, after one period of play, it's a 3-0 lead for the visitor, that being the Minnesota Wild over the Avalanche here in Denver. And one thing, I guess, right now, we're going to talk to Mike Russo of the Athletic. And, Mike, is this something you would have expected in this game?
No, I did not expect it. I expected them to come out and play really, really well. But, right from the opening shift, they dumped the puck and they listened to their coach. He said pointedly after the game the other night that they consciously didn't follow the game plan, and tonight they absolutely did, starting with that second line. Johansson, Boldy, McCarron getting pucks deep. That's the one thing that you lose with Joel Eriksson Ek, is somebody that's going to drag somebody to the trenches, and Johansson and Boldy played a really gritty period, and man, how good was that fourth line? Nico Sturm, best player on the ice. Nick Foligno, first 2 goals in 8 years in the playoffs, just a sensational period. But as Nico said to you, Tom, a lot of hockey left.
Yeah, there is a lot of hockey left, and we know that, and they know that in the locker room. They have to be geared up for that. But it's interesting, too, because you look at that fourth line getting 2 of the goals, and you expect it from the first and second line, and a little bit juggling because of what's happened here the last game. But I look at that fourth line and doing textbook hockey.
Yeah, what I love about it is like Nico Sturm and Marcus Foligno. Nick gets the 2 goals, but Nico Sturm and Marcus Foligno talk about, they talked a lot the last couple days about how this team was not playing the way that it was capable of, the level that they created in Game 3, and then they go out and they walk the walk tonight. I mean, Nico was just sensational. Nick was the beneficiary of both of those goals off Nico Sturm plays. The other 2 that I love that period was Jeff Petrie and Damon Hunt. I thought they were tremendous in that period. Created a couple of rushes. Obviously, that last goal there starts with the 2 of them making great defensive play in the D zone. And look, so far everything that John Hines did today has worked. Michael McCarron on the top, on the second line, that's not what he's suited for, let's be honest. But obviously the Danilo Yurov situation the other night was not a very good one. So he goes down, plays with 2 line mates that he has played with a lot this year, in Vladimir Tarasenko and Yakov Trenyan, and then the fourth line was terrific.
You're around the players quite a bit. Did you sense something like this going to happen in this game? Because they came out with just guns a-blazing.
Yeah, I mean, this morning you could sense that they were very businesslike, but I'd be lying to you if I told you that I thought they'd be up 3 3-0 after one, because you just know that Colorado, and I still don't think Colorado wants to get on that bird tomorrow and go back to Minnesota for a Game 6. But we have seen the Wild do this before. They were down 3-1 in 2021 to Vegas, and the Wild rallied and made it a 7-game series. They wound up losing in Game 7, but they have that capability, and they just came out with a business-like attitude today. There's something about this Colorado team. They have not closed out a series at home to win since I think it's 2008, the last time they played the Wild when they were in the Northwest Division, if you remember.
Yeah. Even listening to their coach this morning, and Bednar was talking about the fact that we'd like to win this game so that we have more rest for the next series. Be careful. That's what happened if you remember back in 2003, because they were talking. The broadcast were talking about, where we're going the next series, and they wound up losing. Obviously,
it was funny just walking on Press Row to get to you and watching all the beat writers for the Avalanche. I'm looking for hotel rooms in Minnesota. But to your point, like I remember, I didn't cover the Wild in 2003. I was covering Florida at the time, Kevin Falmouth, in case you didn't remember. But the one thing that Andrew Brunette always told me is he remembers in game, I think it was 5 in Vancouver, and he rallied the guys together and said, "Look at these guys at center ice. They think this series is over tonight. Let's not let it." And obviously, Colorado felt the same way that year, 23 years ago as well. And so you're right. I was a little surprised at Bednar this morning for talking like that. This series is not over. You're playing against a Wild team. Like, this is a conference final in the second round. You're playing against a Wild team that's got a lot of pride in there. Obviously, they were disappointed what happened in Game 4, but this is a team that's shown they could play with you. And for some reason, Colorado felt awfully cocky this morning.
Yeah, they really did. And I think when you look at Minnesota, they came out and they knew they had a purpose when they stepped on the edge, right from the drop of the puck.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it's listening to your coach. Like, it's not easy to play a dump and chase game because you got to go get the puck, and nobody wants to go get the puck. You want to carry it in, make plays, things like that. But you have to put pressure on this blue line. And the Wild did that in the first period. They were banging bodies and things like that. But we're in Game 5 now, and we've seen the Wild play 4 previous games, all very different games. And so far on the ice, we've seen the Wild play a type of style game that could only win one of them, and that was when they played the style that they're playing tonight. Sometimes the coach knows the best, and sometimes you just got to put it all out there and play the system and the style that he wants to play, and knowing that that's what's going to work. And so far we're seeing it. There's 2 periods to go, though.
Well, there are 2 periods, and it's going to be a tough 2 periods. There's no question about that. Mike, thanks for being with us.
Absolutely. See you, Kevin.
Mike, yeah. Mike Russo, our guest here, Kevin from The Athletic. Let's go back to Kevin Falk.
All right, thank you, Thomas, and goodbye, Michael, America's favorite blogger, joining Tom Reid between periods. And for doing so, we'll give him a gift certificate down to Tom Reid's Hockey City Pub. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino. After 1 period of play, it's all Wild. Marcus Johansson, 34 seconds in, sets the tone. And then how about a pair by Nick Foligno? Ups the lead to 3-rip. Pair of assists for Nico Sturm. Kaprizov on the board. Boldy, Hughes. Boldy's actually got a couple of assists. Wild lead the Avalanche 3-0 after 1 period of play. Out shooting the Avs 13-11. Thus far, the Wild 0 for 1 on the power play. The Avalanche yet to skate with a man advantage. Period 2 in Game 5 is next. This is Wild Hockey, presented by Grand Casino.
For an extraordinary advantage in sports, you need a game plan. For an extraordinary advantage everywhere else, all you need is Acrisure. With a high-tech human approach to insurance, cybersecurity, and more, Acrisure helps you take care of what you care about. That makes winning easy. See what Acrisure's extraordinary advantage can do for you at Acrisure.com.